Welcome, welcome, Vernon Owls. Just want to give people a heads up. We're going to give folks a sec. It's about 30 seconds before we start the full going live stream, but welcome for all of you that have gotten on early, and we'll be with you in just one sec. Welcome to the Vernon Back to School Night. Good evening and welcome, Vernon Owls. I'm really excited to have our kindergarten through second grade families joining us for our first session of the Vernon Back to School Night. Tonight, we're going to be learning a little bit about what's going on in the school. We're going to be hearing from a school board member. We're going to be hearing from Tatiana Bruce, our Sun School site manager. And then when we're done with our presentation, you all are going to have a chance to then go to your classroom and learn more from your teacher. So we're excited to have you this evening, and I'm going to go ahead and start us off by welcoming school board member and our very own representative for Zone 5, Scott Bailey, PPS School Board Vice Chair. Welcome, Scott. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Ben. And a big welcome to all the Vernon families out there for Back to School Night. We're certainly in extraordinary times right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're continuing a 400-year struggle for racial justice in this country. And with the devastating fires, not only here, but really around the world, we're getting a big warning about what's coming with climate change if we don't do something. In these times, I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. I do want to take this opportunity to briefly mention an important matter that's on the upcoming November ballot, and that's the renewal of the Portland Public Schools construction bond. I think you're well aware we have about 80 school buildings in this district, and most of them are pretty old and pretty funky and need a lot of work. We started a bond program in 2012. Voters approved a bond then and again in 2017. What we've done with that money is do the basics like fixing roofs. We've added elevators to improve accessibility. We've addressed some really important health and safety concerns in schools like lead in the water, lead paint, asbestos. And we've also started modernizing and rebuilding our 80 schools. And right now, there are two schools, actually 3 schools under construction. Madison and Kellogg are due to open next year, and we broke ground on Lincoln this past winter. The 2020 bond will continue a lot of this work. Again, fixing roofs, fixing heating and ventilation systems, addressing more health and safety concerns, improving accessibility. We're also going to address information technology. I think we're all aware how important that is in education right now. We'll be replacing servers, buying new computers for students and staff, and fixing Wi-Fi dead spots in schools. We're also, and this is a new feature for this bond, we'll be replacing curriculum materials. We're way behind in a lot of curriculum materials, but if, when the bond passes, within 5 years, we will have updated all our materials across the board. My kids started school in 1994, and that's never been true for them, so this is really a dream come true. Finally, we will continue modernizing schools. We'll rebuild Benson and build a new building for our multiple pathways graduation programs. And I'm very excited. We're going to be investing over $360 million in the Jefferson cluster on a Center for Black Student Excellence that will include the rebuilding of Jefferson High School. And we'll do all this by maintaining the same tax rate that we have had in the last couple of years. So it's just keep it going, and we'll keep doing good things. And if we keep this up over the next couple of decades, we'll have modernized all our schools. That'll be a huge, huge thing for our students. So I hope you'll join me in voting yes in November on Measure 26215. That's the PPS construction bond. Thanks again for your support. of our students and staff and schools here. And now I'll turn it back over to Ben. Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Scott. Take care. So the next thing we want to really be able to do is to talk about our fabulous team. So we have an amazing team at Vernon, and you're now a part of that team in ways that have never been true before. And so we really want to thank not only our staff, but also our dedicated parents for leaning into this. I think Scott said it well when we talked about how we're in unprecedented times, pandemic, wildfires, racial injustice. There's so much going on right now, and we understand how much bandwidth virtual school is taking for families. We're going to talk to that a little bit tonight around some ways that we can try and help make that work for everybody. But we just want to be able to talk a little bit about thanking you and thanking our wonderful staff for all the hard work that they've put in to try and stand up virtual learning for our Vernon students. This is all with the idea of our graduate portrait in mind. The district has gone through a visioning process, and this is a part of the visioning process where we're trying to create learners who have and demonstrate these different characteristics. So we're looking to try and help our students be optimistic, future-oriented graduates, be reflective, empathetic, and empowered, influential and informed global stewards, be positive, confident, and connected, and have a sense of self. We also want to make sure that they're powerful and effective communicators, resilient, adaptable, and truly lifelong learners, that they are transformative racial equity leaders. That's a huge focus in PPS and also at Vernon. Inquisitive critical thinkers with deep core knowledge, and inclusive collaborative problem solvers. Our staff at Vernon, and now you as parents, are all working together to try and make sure that we realize this graduate portrait for each of our students. For the 2021 school year, there's a big focus for us around IB because Vernon is an international baccalaureate school for primary years and middle years program. And a big notion for us is this idea that I believe, I belong, and I become. We have learner profile characteristics, and your kids will do a lot more with that. Our students will do a lot more with that in the classroom. But those learner characteristics also will help us achieve that graduate profile. This year, we're going to be really working on refining the notion of how we get better at getting better. So as a staff working together, collaborating as a team to try and address the achievement gap specifically for our Black and Brown students. We also want to continue working on building our school climate to help ensure that each and every one of our students is able to learn in an environment that helps them be successful. And we hope that that will happen back here at school at some point this year. Refine school-family partnerships to help empower each and every one of our students to reach their full potential is at the heart of the work that we do, and we thank you for your partnership in this work. I also want to point out some pieces around resources. We've pushed out a different set of resources from the district, and there's something here that I want everybody to make sure that they know about, because there's a place where you can go to get information on each one of these different areas. It has information on student meals, which we'll be speaking a little bit more about, information on childcare, student health access, computer repair and exchange, health and advisory panel that's informing the district on their plans moving forward, as well as mental health and safety. There's also a little place where you can get any of those other fall 2020 messages, because sometimes we know that there's lots of emails coming your way and it's hard to keep up with all of it. So you can find this at pps.net and just put in family resources. We'll also be sharing this link again in the OWL Post, which is our weekly newsletter. Just want to make sure that you have that so that you have a compendium of resources. It has a lot of things there, and there's definitely a lot of information that comes out. So sometimes having a single place where you can go and get it is quite helpful. Breakfast and lunch. I want to make sure to point this out because this is something we realize the struggle that a lot of our families are in terms of work that they're trying to get done, being able to manage and help facilitate learning for their students, and also trying to juggle all that is just keeping things going at home with all that's going on with the pandemic. So there is a partnership between the USDA and PPS that actually is providing school meals for every single student at no cost. It also now it allows us to offer 7 days worth of meals every single week for not just PPS PPS students, but every single Portland child ages 1 through 18. So Vernon isn't one of the sites, sadly, and that's mostly due to access because of the stairs and different things because of how they're doing pickup. But there are 38 different sites, and that can be found at that site that I was just sharing, and we'll share again. But there's a couple close to us, Woodlawn, Wrigler, MLK. Those are all places where you can get food, and you can see that the distribution is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And they provide 2 days, 2 days, and 3 days worth of food at those pickups. They have pickups outside. They ask folks to wear a face mask and practice social distancing as you pick up those meals. We have another special guest this evening, Miss Tatiana Bruce, who's our Sun School and Site Manager, is going to talk to you a little bit about fall programming. Welcome, Tati.
Thanks, Ben. I just want to say good evening, first of all, to all of you guys. I'm very excited to be on here. I miss all of the faces that I haven't seen this year, and I can't wait to meet those of you that are new. I am Tatiana Bruce. I'm the Sun Site Manager here at Vernon. I wanted to just let you guys all know about our virtual programming that's coming up October 12th through December 17th. The SEI applications are available to fill out now, so you can go ahead and check out the link that I'll be emailing out and posting on Facebook. Once the applications are in, then we'll start with class registration. So if you are interested in having your student in fall programming virtually, then stay tuned for that message on Facebook and in your email. But I hope you guys are off to a great start for school, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Thanks so much, Tati. Appreciate it. So one of the things that we want to talk about and address is definitely the notion of virtual Vernon. This is something that we've practiced a little bit in the spring, but obviously is not how any of us imagined that we would be doing. And I just want to make sure that you all understand that as a community, we commit ourselves to supporting the learning of Vernon students, whether it's in person or virtually. We simply can't do this without you. Parents are children's first teachers. We understand and recognize that, and we thank you for your partnership and willingness to work with this new learning format, especially doing all that you are to help us as a staff do what we can to meet the needs of your students. We recognize the hardship that this puts on you, and we definitely want to make sure that we're doing what we can to support making this work for each and every one of our families. Time management is one of those big things. I'm going to go over just a few things that we've learned so far to help this work. And a lot of you are working this out as well. Schedules are huge and important, and not just for the class schedule, but when you do things. For some families, doing the asynchronous work, or the fancy word they use for independent work, or work that students are doing when they're not with their teacher, it can be done at some different times. And so if that works for you to do it at a different time than right after you get done with the live stuff, that's something that you can work on and talk with your teacher about. Make sure that you make time for yourself. That goes for kids and adults, because boy, there is a lot going on, and we got to make sure that we do what we can to try and make time. Give yourself a routine, whatever that routine is. It really helps. You get into that structure and that routine, and it helps kiddos, it helps adults, it helps all of us. Schedule breaks, and that goes for adults and students alike. It's sometimes hard to make that time. I know that we've all been putting in a lot of hours, but definitely trying to make sure to do that self-care and work on keeping stress at a minimum. Because when we make it all work, we know that it's going to work better for our students. Help reduce distractions. This is a huge thing for our students around just trying to figure out what that looks like. We know that lots of people don't have a lot of extra space or room. So whether that's creating a corner in their own room, or just a little space in the house where you can figure out, or apartment, or wherever they're at, to try and figure out where they can have that space where it's the same, they can do their learning there, and they can work on it. When those distractions are reduced, we know that they're able to focus more and be able to get more done. So thanks in advance for helping with that. Brain breaks. We'll share some ideas. There's a whole lot of different things that you can do for brain breaks, and we all need them, and we all need to remind ourselves of those. There's a list and some different ideas here. We'll be sharing some in the OWL post, but we want to make sure that people remember that, while kids are at school, we take time during that day to provide breaks, whether it's recess or a go noodle break, or time to take a stretch, get your wiggles in. So we understand that that's going to be happening for your students as well. And obviously for our kindergarten through second grade students, we know that's going to be happening a lot because they're so young. So make sure that you're having that conversation with your teacher around ideas, or even just as you know your child, make sure that you're thinking of how to incorporate that in as well. We definitely love for them to get a lot of work done, but we know that they sometimes need some breaks to make sure that they're ready to learn. So the other thing is positive feedback. We really thrive on that, and you'll see that in a lot of classrooms. I think it's actually kind of a neat thing that there's a window into a classroom that we've never had before, which is a lot of you are sitting right there with your kids during parts of this. And while we know that can be a burden, we also know it's a neat opportunity to kind of see what they're up to in the classroom. Obviously, it's not the same virtually as it is in person, but it is a great way to get a window into that. And when we're able to reinforce those behaviors that we want to see, you tend to see more of them. So do what we can to give some positive support and some specific support to students. If you can do that at home too, it just makes us all do all the better. And the reason why I put on here, good job, you can do it, so proud of you, that's for our students because they've been killing it. But honestly, it's for our parents too, because without you all supporting our students, this just would not work. So thank you all so much. Keep up the good work. Be flexible. This is a hard thing. And I will have to say, technology is tricky. This is the first live stream we've ever done. And it took a lot of extra effort to do that. And we understand that for you all, that's a huge piece. If the meeting doesn't work, if some aspect of the technology isn't being cooperative, make sure that you're letting us know, reaching out so that we can help you, but also understand plan B, C, D, E, and F, things that you can do so that if it isn't working, that you aren't stressed out, so your kiddo's not being stressed out. And that's even like, if the computer's not working, grab a book. That's awesome. A bunch of you picked up library book bags. Miss Wilkins is super excited to have that going. And as we get books into more students' hands, that can be another one of those tools, just something that's helpful so that if things aren't going the way they're supposed to, you've got other things to do. You can also talk to your child's teachers about some different creative ways. Never hurts to have them grab a pencil and draw what they see, write about what they see, talk about something they're passionate about, anything that gets them going. If they can't do what they're supposed to be doing, it's okay to do that. And we don't want to put that on you, so that's stuff that we'll be working on too, but just want to definitely remind folks that being flexible is a huge piece of being successful when we're working with students. So this is a huge thing around what's missing, and things have changed a ton, and that's really hard on folks. So we want to just recognize that paying attention to the social emotional learning is huge. Since we can't be together in the same ways that we've been in the past, we're definitely wanting to be here for folks and provide supports. We have two wonderful counselors, Miss Hannah Allen and Shannon Nicholas, who are here to work with you, Miss Harold, myself, all of the teachers. We have a lot of folks around here who want to make sure you're doing okay and your kids are doing okay. So make sure to let us know. Miss Tati is another one who definitely is here to help families if they're needing supports. So make sure if you're needing something that you let us know. And if you're struggling to figure out how to help your kiddos still have some of those social relationships, let us know, because it's important even in this virtual environment to be able to do that and maintain those strong relationships and connections. The other thing is two-way communication. We can't do this without you. That's always been true, but it's never been more true. We have to have a two-way communication. If something's working, awesome, you can let us know. If something's not working, awesome, we need to know that too. It's really important for us to be able to connect with our families. And a lot of folks have already done this in many ways, where they're connecting with their child's teacher. They're letting us know here in the office if they're needing something. We're here for you. So we want to make sure you understand that we want to keep those two-way lines of communication open, because it's essential to our success. A little bit about just Vernon program configuration, and we'll share this because there's a whole lot of numbers here, but this is the kind of stuff that a lot of people are interested in. So there's 3 grade level teachers at each class in kindergarten through 5th grade, for a total of 18 K-5 classroom teachers. We have really nice class size so far this year. We're a little under enrolled from where we were projected to be, but as you can see, as long as those numbers maintain, that's a wonderful class size to have. I don't think anybody's going to complain about an average class size in the low 20s, or in some cases even a little lower. Our 6th through 8th grade, we have 189 students, and we have average class sizes that are still pretty nice for middle school, but with that 6th grade section being an average of about 28 or 29 in a class. So definitely not as big as we were projected to be, but still lots and lots of kiddos, especially for virtual learning. The other piece we have, just to give people a heads up, we have 2 full-time PE teachers, music teacher, art teacher, library media specialist. We also have Spanish, MYP design, which is something our MYP students work on, halftime Mandarin teacher who works mostly with kindergarten through 4th grade and a little bit with MYP middle years program. We have special education, ESL and support staff. We have education resource center teachers, speech path, ESL, therapeutic intervention coach. So you can see all that here. We have a big team of folks and we're all here to support you. We'll share this so people can have it if they're interested in it, but I just wanted to let you know there's a whole lot of folks around here doing what they can to support your students being successful in learning. So we're going to make sure that we work on growing every single one of our students. We hope that you come along and you grow with us. We're celebrating our owls, our students and all they do, working to support students and family, working on making sure that there's great teaching and learning for all students, working on having engaged and empowered parents that are able to support them, and working for each and every one of our students reaching their full potential. It is time for you to head to your classroom session. So for our kindergarten through 2nd grade families, I hope you have a wonderful evening. We're going to be sharing some other information about our teachers that you can see, and we're going to start pushing that in the OWL post. I hope you have a great evening. Let me or Ms. Harold know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining us for our back to school night. Have a good evening.